Welcome once again to your weekly update from the city of New Hope. Time to check in with our special guest today, Councilmember John Elder, filling in for the mayor. Welcome, Councilmember. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Glad you could be with us. A lot to talk about in different city departments. We begin with something you'll see out on the streets coming up this spring that is new and refreshed, and it comes from a great partnership. Tell us a little bit more about the background here.
The city of New Hope first started putting up banners about 8 years ago, and those banners along the street lights have become tattered and worn and are in certain need of replacement. And the desire was to have new banners with different designs, different messaging. And so we contacted the Hennepin Technical College for their graphic arts section and formed a partnership with them. And they came up with a series of designs. The city staff and council went through them, selected the banners that they wanted, and those will be going up in the spring. And so we're excited to be able to provide this opportunity for the designers, and the city benefits from it. So we're appreciative for that.
All right, keep your eyes to the light poles come this spring. Let's talk about scattered site housing, and one of the more prominent projects in years is on the corner of 42nd and Boone, and this property has a lot of history with the city as well. Tell us about that history and also the progress on the property.
That's the location where Treehouse had been for many, many years. And it decided to consolidate services, and they are out west of us now. And those lots the city got back, and we are building two residential homes on that property. The south home is just finishing completion, and it's listed for sale for $466,000. This was a tax exempt property, so we got no taxes from it. And so this adds $466,000 worth of property for taxing. There will be an additional home put up just north of it on the same property. Again, it was a large property, and we expect that home to go for a minimum of $466,000 as well. So it's sad to see Treehouse go. They're an incredible organization, providing great support for our youth. But we're happy to see that these properties were picked up, and will be able to generate revenue for the city.
Let's hop about a mile or so up Boone now and talk about another property that has been having some work done on it and now in the builder process. Bring us up to date there.
Great Buy Homes put in a proposal for that land and wanted to purchase it to put a home onto it. We have had a number of homes built by Great Buy Homes in the city of New Hope, especially with our scattered site housing program. They build good homes, and we were excited to have them go ahead and get closed on this in December. Unfortunately, they asked for a delay in the closing date. And so the EDA, the Economic Development Authority, and the council have agreed to push that closing date back to April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan is that they will close by then and start building another home there. And that's on the northeast corner of Bass Lake Road and Boone Avenue. And they're changing the orientation so the road doesn't come out onto Boone Avenue. It'll come out onto Boone Place.
Mm-hmm.
And so being at the intersection of a busy road, the front of their home will face a cul-de-sac. So that's a nice upgrade, a great use of the property, good builder. We're very excited to be working with them. If it happens that they're not able to close by April 1st, we will go ahead and look for another builder to take over that property and to put us up a nice house.
We will keep residents up to date on that progress. Business Networking Group, great group that combines businesses and residents from Crystal and New Hope. They've got a meeting plan coming up here in February. And speaking of homes, it sounds like that's the topic.
It is. Remax Results is hosting their meeting on February 7th at 8:30 a.m. It's a great group of business owners and residents who care what's happening with our commercial stock, and they are sharing challenges that they have, things that victories that they're having, and it's a way to keep our business community tied together. It's it's a great group of folks.
February 7th is the date. So pretty quickly here after we're recording this on the Monday, if you can get to that, do that. If not, on the website, information about their March meeting as well. Speaking of businesses, one business that's very prominent in the city that's doing a little updating. Tell us about that business.
Pub 42 changed ownership in May of 2023, and it has been a great business in our community. You go there and it's almost always busy, and so that's a great barometer for what's a good business. They do a nice job. Well, through an inspection, they found that their bathrooms don't quite meet ADA standards. So they're in the process of changing those over, actually changing the location of where the bathrooms are at. And when they're completed, they will have men's and women's bathroom that meet ADA standards. And that's important to the city as well as important to the new owners. And I've gotten to meet with them a number of times for city business, and they're quality owners, and I am not fearful for the track that this business will take in the future.
Let's move ahead to the police department to provide a quick update for residents here. And the update is related to the number of calls during the last week period of time. An odd fact here, as we were getting ready for this update, I asked Councilmember Elder a little bit about the weather we're having, and is that an effect related to police? And lo and behold, you wanted to talk a little bit about that, and the answer is apparently yes.
Absolutely. We see a spike in calls for service throughout the late spring, certainly the summer and into the fall. And a lot of it obviously is weather dependent. And with this warm weather, we are seeing a increase in the number of calls that officers are responding to. There were 454 police-related incidents last week, and our officers are staying on top of this spike. They're doing a great job handling the calls as they're coming in, and if they end up getting real busy, they always have Crystal and Robbinsdale to draw from as needed, as those cities draw from New Hope. So it's they're doing a great job, but we are seeing that things are far more active with the warmer weather.
Yeah, one of those effects of the warm winter that you wouldn't think about, but indeed is happening. Let's talk about the roads and get people prepared for something coming up this spring. There is a road that has two cities sharing that road that needs some attention, and you're going to partner with Crystal on that. Tell us more.
Absolutely. Whether we're ready for it or not, here comes road construction season. And the city of New Hope has worked closely with the city of Crystal to work on the replacement of the road in the area of 31st in Louisiana. The west half belongs to New Hope. The east half belongs to Crystal. In fact, when I was growing up, the east half was a dirt road, and the west half belonging to New Hope was a paved road. And now they've gotten together. Obviously, they paved it all years ago. That may be showing my age, and but they're working together to get this road redone and getting the appropriate detours in place as it will impact both cities.
All right, watch for more information about that as the season comes along. Let's go to Park and Rec. A few updates here. One is they are looking ahead at the spring and summer season as well and contacting some employees. How does this process work? And is this the normal timing that they do that?
It is, as we're normally buried in snow this time of year.
right?
Our Parks and Rec department is concentrating on the summer season where things are the busiest. And there's playground supervisors, pool attendants, lifeguards. There's a whole bunch of people that they need to get hired and really locked in before, they are taking jobs with other locations. And as we continue to move forward, our Parks and Rec staff has contacted each of the different employees from 2023 to see if they'd like to return for 2024. And very happily, we're seeing the vast majority are wanting to come back and work for the city of New Hope.
Information about those jobs on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Look there to find out more. Let's talk a little bit about the warm weather and the effect it's had on those ice rinks. I know you were holding out hope, but apparently you just can't hold on any longer. Is that right?
That's exactly it. Last week when we talked, we said that the ice rinks were going to be closed until further notice. And unfortunately, the decision was made at the end of last week that with the extended forecast that we're looking at, we're just not going to be able to have the outdoor rinks and warming houses open for the remainder of the season. So unfortunately, they're both closed for the remainder of the season. When we do get another cold snap and that ice freezes, all of that ice would have to be resurfaced. They're damaged at this point due to the heat. And so it's unfortunate. Where New Hope is known for their parks, which includes the rinks and the warming houses. Unfortunately, that just will not be something people will be able to utilize yet this year.
That's right. That weather has been tough, but it is bringing on, and this is normally the time that a lot of the spring teams start to look at ways to practice, and they look to do it indoors, and they still have that plan this year. And there's a great place in New Hope that they go to. Where is that wonderful place?
We have community gyms as a joint partnership with School District 281. And at Cooper, we have community gyms. We also use other gyms throughout the 281 school district, but we're seeing a lot of our youth sports teams are training in our community gyms for their upcoming summer and spring and summer seasons. So we're seeing a lot of use there. Again, this was a project, the community gyms, that started years ago, and it just continues to pick up steam. And getting these gyms reserved can be difficult because there's such a high demand for them.
That back parking lot at Cooper High School is often very full. You might not see it from the front of the building, but drive around to the back and there's hundreds of cars there using that community gym.
There is.
Let's talk about the emerald ash borer. We've updated residents on where that is being looked for and some of the process being done on some of the trees. And actually, this has helped with the warm weather to have more crews on hand. How does that work?
Yes, well, our public works teams are usually out plowing, sanding, taking care of sidewalks, etc. throughout this time of year. With this weather, we have been able to divert those teams from obviously not plowing into removing emerald ash borer trees, identifying trees that have to come down. And so we're making really, really good progress on getting trees identified and removed. We're still a long way off, but we're doing very, very well.
One final item in Park and Rec. Let's talk about the place that is cold and cold throughout the year, and that is the ice arena. No problem there keeping the ice cold, and it is being very well used.
Yeah, the Armstrong Cooper Youth Hockey Association rents a great deal of ice time for us or from us. And we have worked with that organization. They're responsible for the Dasher board advertisements. It's been a great relationship between the city and the Armstrong Cooper Youth Hockey Association. They have taken up a great big chunk of our ice time, and additional tournaments have been coming into New Hope. New Hope has long-standing relationships with a lot of different hockey associations, and we host a great deal of tournaments, and that in turn means money for the city. And so it's been a great relationship with the different hockey associations, and we're looking forward for that to continue.
Final couple notes related to human resources in the city, and there are some positions that are open, which doesn't happen too often in New Hope, but one of these positions is a long-standing familiar face to City Hall, but is going to retire. Bring us up to date on that.
Yeah, we received word a couple months ago that Valerie Leone, our city clerk, was going to be retiring. And that is a tremendous loss to the city. As a friend of Valerie, I'm ecstatic she'll be able to do this. But it'll be big shoes to fill. It really will. Val has sworn in every member of our police department. She swore me in when I became an officer in New Hope in 1999, and she has sworn me in for every one of my council seats.
Right.
So she really has, to say vast knowledge minimizes what an asset she is to our city. She has chosen to move to retire, and that's fabulous. So we have been going through internal candidates, and two have been certified by the personnel board to move forward for the final interview with the city manager. So I applaud the city for the fact that they understand the magnitude of the city clerk job, and that there is going to be a great deal of on-the-job training, working closely with Val to ensure that when this person's on their own, they'll be able to hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. Other position that is open at the city is Housing Code Enforcement Inspector position. And this is, again, moving along very nicely through the process as well. Bring us up to date there.
It is. New Hope has a reputation to be a good place to work. It very simply is. And we had many applicants for the Housing Code Enforcement Inspector position. The Personnel Board interviewed 5 people, and the top 5 candidates out of the group, and 3 have been certified to move on to the final interview with the city manager. And so we're looking forward to that selection, get that person going, and pick up our inspections.
More to come as that process goes along. And one final note as we leave you here is this magazine is a great place to go. And you do see up here that it does say spring as well as winter. So a lot of activities inside this guide from the city of New Hope. So if you want to find out what you can do during these spring months, that is the place to go. And stick with us. Look at some events coming up in the very near future here on our calendar of events. Councilmember Elder, thanks so much for your time, for filling in for the mayor. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you as well.
Dave, thank you so much for all your time, sir.
Take care.
You bet.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.